The Scrimmage Sim business simulation provides a number of business scenarios where you can experience running a virtual business that gives you the context to understand business concepts. Scrimmage Sim is designed like an enterprise resource planning system. Enterprise resource planning systems, commonly referred to as ERP systems, are used by most major companies to integrate their business functions and run the company efficiently. SAP and Oracle are the two major ERP system companies, and Scrimmage Sim is designed to operate like the SAP ERP system. The business scenarios you will be using are those of Arborcrest Ale Studios, a small regional brewery. In the brewing process, there are a number of steps, some of which are performed by outside companies, like producing the malted grain. In the brewery itself, there are a number of processes, like mashing, lautering, and brewing, that convert the malted grain into a sugar-water mixture called wort. The key process, and the one that is the bottleneck in the brewery, is fermentation, where yeast converts the wort into beer. The fermentation process usually takes from 7 to 14 days. After the fermentation process, the beer is either bottled, canned, or kegged. In our simulation, we are going to focus on fermentation, which is the longest step in the process and is the key to scheduling the brewery operations. We will also simplify the process by only producing bottled beer and assuming that all beers require 14 days of fermentation. At Arborcrest Ale Studios, there are 4 fermentation tanks, or fermenters. Each fermenter can hold 100 barrels of beer. A barrel is equal to 31 gallons. There is usually about a 10% loss in the brewing and bottling processes, so that each 100-barrel fermenter will produce 1,240 cases of beer. Arborcrest currently has 3 products. Alleycat Ale, which is a summer ale with very high sales in the summer and lower sales in the winter. Edgar Ale, a winter ale with higher sales in winter than summer, but the seasonal changes in demand are not as dramatic as for Alleycat Ale. And Taj Mahal, which is an IPA that sells consistently throughout the year. If you look at the selling price and cost for each beer, you will see that Edgar Ale produces the lowest gross profit of $5.16 per case. Taj Mahal has the highest gross profit of $7.07 per case. This graph shows the sales history for the past 3 years. You can see the seasonal demand for Alleycat Ale. In fact, the demand for Alleycat in April through August will consume nearly all of the company's capacity. You can also see that Edgar has higher sales in winter than summer, but the seasonal changes are not nearly as significant as Alleycat. You can also see that demand is increasing for all 3 beers, and it is likely that trend will continue into the future. The simulation will run for 1 year, and you will not be able to keep up with all demand during the summer months. You will want to make sure that you maintain sales of Taj Mahal, as it makes the most profit per case. When you lose sales, you will want to lose sales of the least profitable beer, which is Edgar Ale. You will be assigned a user account by your instructor and may be part of a team. The number of students on a team will be determined by your instructor. If you are assigned to a team, you must coordinate your decisions. For example, if each member in a team of 3 creates 4 production orders, there will be 12 production orders in the system. While you will be competing against other teams, the decisions of one team do not affect the performance of other teams. You are competing in identical environments with identical demand patterns. So while you are competing against each other, you are not affecting the other team's performance. Your activity is being recorded when you play the simulation. Every time you log in, that is being recorded in the system. Every time you perform a transaction, like creating a production order, or look at a graph or a report, it is being logged in the system. This login information and the summary of transactions is available to your instructor, and they will use this information as part of your grade. Therefore, it is very important that you log into the simulation using your user ID and participate in the simulation to get the maximum points possible. The simulation period runs for a year, and time increments of 1 day will occur approximately every 10 seconds. Your instructor may speed up the simulation as you gain familiarity with its operation.